What's that? What's that? There's two people running through it looked like a temple or a ruins or something. You know, running through a doorway. And that's basically all the information I could process. I'm very happy I'm level 50 because I can actually do all the treasure maps I find now.
It's pretty nice.
Shan, what does the new form of Zorak mean? Who is this Zorak? She might just not respond. I don't. That might not be worth a response. You can't spell its name? Zoroark? You literally just missed an O before the A and an R after the A. I think,
Yeah,
right?
you're actually like super close, yeah. Zoro. Art.
Yeah, Zoroark. I'm gonna name mine Komeda. Or maybe Nagito. I need to decide whether I want to use first name or last name.
Yes.
Okay. I'm not gonna name it the full name.
That's why you get a second one. And name it the other.
I'm not gonna have two Isu and Zoroark. Okay, anyways, what in the world is going on? Okay, I finished all the stuff. Right, botanist in a bind. I think I actually did a very small part of this quest, like, story-wise off-screen. Basically, I just asked the guy what the mistletoe were for, and he said, like, I mean, yeah, it's to support the army, but, like, I mean, if we don't, they're just gonna die, so, like, Fufusha can say whatever she wants about it.
You know.
Do I have to? Oh, I do have to take it to Fufusha, not to this guy. Yeah. I mean, I get not wanting to support war, but if the war's happening anyways, you might as well do your best to help out with it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, Fufusha, I got your mistletoe. I also will be ready for the final botanist quest.
Ooh.
Final botanist quest is going to be finding something stupid from a rare node, isn't it?
Yes.
Great. Welcome back, Lucius. So it is as I feared. Do not worry, I will take the 20 sprigs of mistletoe. Thank you, you've served the guild well once more. And so the unending cycle of bloodshed goes on. Needless to say, by no fault of your own. I need to put on my glasses. Pardon me while I clean the lenses. It's very important. If they're smudged, then I'll just have to clean them later.
You know.
Oh, God. Wow. I can see the details on her hat now. I bear no ill will to Lieutenant Gavin or his people. On the contrary, I have not respect for his candor, not to mention his service to my homeland. What weighs heavy on my heart is a sentiment far more simple, almost childish. I simply cannot bear to see this forest I love suffer any longer. War is inevitable, this I understand, but by aiding the war effort, we do not merely contribute to the suffering, we profit from it. No better than the parasitic mistletoe. Is a mistletoe a parasitic plant? We suck the life out of the trees that shelter us for our own personal gain. I guess I'll believe her. I didn't know that's what a mistletoe did.
I guess that is what a mistletoe does.
A parasite.
At least in this universe.
A parasite. That's what our once proud guild has been reduced to. How can I in good conscience permit this to go on? Forgive me, Lucia. I would be alone with the bouts for a while. Sounds good to me. Doglet, that's... Oh, because I have a fancy one. How about this? That would be awful. This one... No, that's the same one. Okay. Raptor skin gloves. Why'd your heart stop for a second, Shion? Are you okay?
That's a good question. Are you okay, Shion?
Cyrus? Cyrus is hot. Okay. Shion's heart stopped over the hotness of her own character.
Yep. And in one aspect, I can respect that. I just find it very amusing.
But on the other, Shion, you're a nerd.
Absolutely she is.
He's back on.
Oh shit.
What have you done?
I fucked up the mechanic.
Okay. Did they deserve it?
No, I messed it up.
Yes, the mechanic.
I...
Why do you put up with me?
Because on the rare instances where you're not just being a total dork, you're very funny.
See, Shion doesn't know either. See, so I did something that I want to see if it paid off. I went and I gathered 99 cobalt ore and 20 high-quality cobalt ore, and I sold it. And I put it on the marketplace to sell. I want to see if it actually sold. It is the highest quality ARR ore, basically. Though, well, that's not rare node.
Mm. And I think it's needed for,
Stuff and things.
yeah, I think it's needed for one of the minor quests.
Cobalt?
Isn't it? Am I crazy?
No, cobalt isn't. There's... No. Wait, is it? No. No, not cobalt, right? I don't think it's cobalt. I think...
Oh no, it's dark steel.
I mean, Darksteel's the last one. Yeah, that's a rare one. Rowney.
Yeah. I realized I was wrong.
Forgive me if I seemed a bit distant the last time we spoke, Lucia. Allow me to get straight to the point. I have not come to this decision easily, but I have come to it all the same. As of today, I have resigned from the Botanist Guild. Our battle... Our battle with the Ixal rages on. You knew this happened. And there are rumblings from the Empire as well. With each passing day, more people die. The soil is stained deeper with blood, and the 12-wood weeps. Meanwhile, I fill orders for the war effort, and for what purpose? That more Ixal may suffer and die Thengradonians? No. If this is what it means to be a botanist in this day and age, I want no more part of it. Yanni, may Nofika, bless her dear heart, tried her best to convince me to stay. Still, I fear my heart is settled. Mind you, this decision is mine alone. I would pass no judgment on those who find meaning in their efforts here. Should you wish to continue to serve the guild, I am sure that Yanni will have suitable tasks for you. Farewell, Lucia, and may the 12s would ever shelter you. Yes, but you're still gonna stand out here. In front of the Botanist Guild, all the time. What's up, Yanni? Oh, Lucia, I'm so glad you're here. You spoke to Fufusha, yes? It absolutely breaks my heart to see what's become of my old friend. Fufusha and I have known each other since we were both knee-high to a Funguar, and I assure you, her knowledge of and the passion for the flora of this realm is second to none. This guild would be absolutely lost without her guidance. Of course, I understand her worries. These are not easy times for a true seeker of peace and friend to nature. And yet I cannot help to feel that her emotions cloud her better judgment. That she is not seeing the forest for the trees, if you will. Fufusha has convinced herself that she is doing more harm than good to the natural world she so loves. Preposterous! Has she forgotten the countless trees she planted after the calamity, journeying far and wide to return, Lust Verdier? To our shattered realm? Someone must remind her of all she has accomplished, and the work that is still left to be done. To that end, I have made contact with one of Fufusha's former apprentices, a botanist by the name of Roitaloin, who now tends a forest that Fufusha herself led the planting of many years ago. My words as a friend will not reach Fufusha now. Only a fellow botanist who understands the depths of her worries can heal the wounds in her heart. I beg of you, Lucia, speak to this Roitaloin and seek his counsel. Roitaloin tends the forest surrounding the Timberlord's Lodge in the central highlands of Korthus. Please, go quickly. once Fusha leaves our guild behind, I fear she may never return. Okay, sounds good to me. Go speak to Wordlewind. The Ethernet's there. Why is the Ethernet shard over here for the Botanist Guild?
Great question.
Leatherworker. Okay, I have the boar skin ringlets for the leatherworker, and I have the bow for the carpenter.
Nope.
It's probably going to put me up to level 40 leatherworker, too, so I'll be able to take the next one. Hey, Gava. Well, Lucy, have you crafted me the finest boarskin ring bands the guild has ever seen? No pressure, of course. That sounds like pressure to me.
What are you talking about? No such thing.
Is that a smudge? One could hardly call this perfect. Fortunately, it's not perfection I sought of you, but pure single-minded devotion to the craft. And from the moment I took this ring band in hand, I knew you would not let me down. Clearly, you possess a keen understanding of the ideal ring band. The boarskin, light, sturdy, and resistant to friction, is reinforced by steel links to afford protection without weighing down the wearer. Clumsily crafted ring bands have been known to distract those that would wield magic. Yours, however, are so well balanced that one might forget that she's wearing anything at all.
Actually, she's wearing nothing at all.
Well, I mean, this mannequin is wearing nothing at all, so. This is a true accomplishment of leatherworking, and will serve as a clarion wake-up call to any loafer content with churning out substandard work. I'll be honest with you, Lucia. When you first came stumbling through our doors, I'd reckoned I'd need time making you into a saddle than a respectable leatherworker. How pleased I am to have been proven wrong. You have risen to the challenge and become a model to the entire guild, which reminds me. I've spoken to you of the Gridanian exhibition, yes? The day of opening draws near, and I must devote myself fully to producing our new line of leather fashions. As this will afford me little time to devote to everyday affairs, I require someone to handle the more demanding commissions until the exposition has come and gone. I have decided that you are the woman for the job. That's right. Your next task will be to serve as my personal assistant. Don't even think about neglecting your training. Is that clear?
What? Neglect my what now? What am I supposed to do?
I don't, listen, lady, between any given quest, I make, 2 things, give them to the Twin Adder, and I get a million experience, so.
Accurate, though.
Sure. Yay, I leveled up.
Yay, level ups.
I really wish there was just a button that said, retrieve all materia from this thing. Why do I have to do it twice in a row?
It would be nice.
Some things have 4 materia slots. Wow, I have a lot of things.
Indeed.
Are these all? Oh yeah, these are. What? These are level 30. I guess I didn't try to change my set after I leveled up last time. Meld. This one. This one. See, I don't get that. Why is... I should put something on level 34 that if I had put it on a level 38, it said it would be a too low level item to handle it. But now it...
Item level. I think.
Item level 34. Item level 38. I don't know. And frankly, I don't care as long as it works.
A good philosophy to have. This astrology does not know how.
Ralger, take me. Of all times for this order to come in. Here, have a look, Lucia. An order for a pair of boarskin smithy gloves made by the guildmaster herself using her famous Giva patterns. To be delivered post-haste, no less. I'd bet a month's earnings that the oaf couldn't tell my handiwork from Gobu's arse. Gubu's arse. Gubu? Gobu?
Boo.
Gubu. But does that stop him from filing such a tactless order when I'm at the very ears and work for the exhibition? Apparently not. Post-haste? I'd deliver a slap upside the head post-haste. Wouldn't have negative repercussions for the guild business. Fortunately, my new assistant has arrived. Why, you, of course, Lucy. I did mention I'd be delegating work to you while I focus on the exhibition, did I not? What about the customer's conditions, you say? Bah, he'll get a pair of gloves made by the famous Lucia herself, and he'll like them just fine. Sounds good to me. I will not complain. How do I get out of here? So I'm vaguely concerned, because every night, at a certain time, around this time, I suddenly start, have you ever had those gummy colas? What, like the gummy candies that taste like soda?
Yeah.
All of a sudden, my entire room starts smelling like them for like 5 minutes, and then it goes away.
Weird.
I haven't had gummy colas in this room ever. I don't think I haven't had them here since I moved. And it happens like around the same time every night. It just happened.
Weird.
And it really makes me want a gummy cola. Oh wow, I am a level 50 carpenter.
Indeed.
Hey, beaten. Only perfection will suffice, Lucia. If you have it, then show me. There you go. Even experienced carpenters can find constructing a composite bow to be a daunting task, given the complexity of design and the variety of materials required. But the resulting product is well worth the price. This union of wood, bone, and sinew possesses the power of a self bow more than twice its size. This makes it ideal for archers who must travel with minimal supplies and cannot afford to carry heavier equipment. No matter how much I search, I cannot find flaw with your craftsmanship, your materials, your execution. It is all, for want of a better word, perfect. It comforts me to know that Gerhard will wield this formidable weapon. Deliver it to him with my blessings. Okay. I will get this to your boyfriend post-haste. Hey, Gerhard. Greetings, Lucia. I believe you have a delivery for me? Now this is a fine bow, worthy of the bow lord himself. The girl will be pleased. What's that? Beaton thought this was for me? Oh no, this is for one of my archers. I have a perfectly serviceable bow, which has served me for many years. Beaton ought to know, he made it. Those are the days. He, the young initiate, I, the aspiring serpent. He wasn't always so damn cocksure, you know? Back then he was full of doubts and questions. The maple longbow he made might not look like much to you, but to me it's the perfect weapon. I intend to use it till the day I die. Not that I intend to die any time soon, of course. Now then, I believe I have delivery of my own to make, if you'll excuse me, Lucia. Aw, he still uses the bow that Beaton gave him. They're gay as fuck. They really are.
They really are.
Welcome back, Lucia. Was Gerhard well? What? He still used that longbow I made him as an initiate? I think he kept it. But a twin-adder captain deserves a far finer weapon. I should offer to craft him a new one. Till that day I die. What nonsense. Surely that longbow is no more than a mangled stick at this point. If it were to break during battle, he would only have himself to blame. Ugh, but I cannot stand idly by while he... No, no, I'll give this no more thought. He's an experienced soldier. He would never be so reckless. Oh, I did not realize you were still here, Lucia. You may go. I have nothing else for you today. He literally gets lost in thought, like thinking about him.
Yep.
Okay, give me money.
Oh shit, that's the wrong thing I bought.
Yo, beaten. Oh, this is the 45 quest. Oh, I got Super Ed and Carpenter.
You really did.
Not now, Lucia. I have too much on my mind. I did not intend for things to become so heated. Yet Gerhard refused to listen to reason, and I... Never mind. Leave me to my work. If you still desire company, perhaps young Nicola will serve. Okay. Am I gonna have to give him a fine wood again to get his to get him thinking straight?
You know, probably.
I'm not sure he's capable of thinking straight.
Exactly.
I remember you, Lucia. Right. Let me guess. Beaton told you to go away again. He's been like that since Gerhard left. He had some commission for the guild, but Beaton wouldn't accept it because of an old bow or something. They were shouting, and Beaton threw him out. They were both acting like younglings. I don't know if it'll help, but maybe you should talk to Gerhard about what happened. I think he went back to the Adder's Nest. Leave old Beaton to me. I'll talk some sense into him. Sounds good to me. Lucia, what brings you here?
Because look, this can only go so wrong, right?
So, you heard about what happened at the guild. It's unfortunate that the children bore witness to our dispute. And it was more unfortunate that I must ask you to become involved. My request was intended for the Timbermaster himself, but since he has refused me, I have no choice. I need a cobalt halberd, a jade crook, and a yew longbow, your best quality, and as fast as possible. This equipment is required for a mission of grave import, which is why I first approached the Timbermaster. But you are also a proven artisan, Lucia, so I think I can safely entrust it to you. Nevertheless, I must ask that you present the finished items to Beaton for inspection. If he judges them acceptable, then I will gladly accept. Cobalt halberd, a jade crook, and a yew longbow. Okay, I've made a jade crook before. I don't think I've made the other time.
I'd be surprised if you had, because I don't think you've ever needed them.
Jade crook I made for the adder thingy.
Yeah. I mean, like for like other stuff though.
Yeah. Generally speaking, special deliveries are where I've made like 90% of the stuff.
Yeah, makes sense.
Oh, I just saw Shion grabbed all the Disciple of Hand classes and leveled them up a little. Wow.
Yes, she did.
I didn't think she had it in her.
And yet, she did it. Are you proud of her?
Yes. Actually, I haven't used this one in a while.
Because
Take
I'm
me,
also
hand!
proud.
Take me!
Might want to watch where it's grabbing you.
Well, I'm a cat. I'm used to it.
Alright, fair enough.
Oh, there's a rare note here right now.
Ooh.
It's always nice when you just happen to check just because you're around and there's a rare node. What's in here?
It's a very good feeling.
Ooh, vampire map. Vampire plants.
Ooh.
So if I do... Let me see how this works. I think I've gotten vampire plants before, actually. So then I can do that. And Ageless Words to get one back, and then I get two that are at 100%. Haha! I'm a genius. Screwdriver matter clusters, I don't even know what to do with them. I just realized I think the Magitech Death Hand has a thing too. It has some music for when it's carrying you. Yeah, it does. Well met, Lucia. Yenny told me to expect you. I'm Riddleoin, a humble botanist, plying his trade in these bleak lands. Botany is not simply my livelihood, I consider it my true calling. Calling I would have, I would never have discovered if it were not for Fafusha's guidance. I hate these names. Needless to say, I was devastated to hear the news. All hope is not lost, however, as I have hit upon an idea. Tell me, Lucia, are you familiar with the spruce tree? I do not blame you for your nod as a rare sight these days. As Fafusha would tell it, in the years before the calamity, vast forests of spruce would stretch for malms and malms. What spruce trees you see today are the result of Fafusha's efforts to bring the flora of ages past back to Eorzea. Perhaps seeing her work has borne fruit will convince her not to abandon her life as a botanist. Knowing Fafusha as I do, the gesture would mean the most to her if the spruce were harvested by the hand of an apprentice close to her heart. Your hand, Lucia. Before you set off, be forewarned. Spruce is still rare in these parts and not easily discerned. Only one with knowledge of the truth of forests could hope to identify such trees, and then only after straining the eyes from the break of dawn. If your eyes are true, friend, you will come upon mature trees unlike any you have seen before. Harvest from them 3 spruce logs and bring them back to me. Korthus Central Islands at 9 a.m. Okay. 9 a.m. is right after I get gold from Thanolin, so sounds good to me.
Hey, not bad.
You get gold ore from Thanolin at 6 a.m.
Ooh.
Okay, so that's done. What the hell else do I have? Materia Enhanced Crossbeam and Hammer to Brithial. I actually don't have that many that are active right now.
You know, that's not necessarily a bad thing.
Well, it's certainly not a bad thing for you, because that means I get to the story faster. Listen, you gotta do maintenance before you get onto stuff.
Which is fair.
Maintenance is the most important thing to a well-oiled machine.
Why do you think they have to perform constant maintenance for this game?
They perform maintenance on this game? I thought they just kind of like put out A Realm Reborn and then it kind of just stayed open since then.
You're a dork.
I thought all the like new stuff and like bug fixes and expansions were just like, you know, like the work of like AI and stuff. Just like the game evolving as it saw fit. Class.
No real way to dignify that with a response other than a sigh. I just don't.
That would be a pretty cool way to make a video game, though. Just have an AI decide where it goes.
It could be pretty fun.
I think that could be a very fun experimental MMO where AI would have to get like a little bit better still. But where they just like give it a starting point and then they just have it as players do quests and stuff, it automatically writes new quests and dialogue.
See that? Because I know there was, if I remember correctly, there was a card game that did something like that. I think it was Six Rings.
What? How does that even work?
Yeah. Well, how it worked was that like they would print cards for the game, and then like they would run official tournaments for it, and based on what kind of deck won the tournament.
Also, like
the tournament.
Also, like the tournament informed the lore of the game.
Yeah.
Like the tournament was actually like canon to the world of the game, as though like the thing that happened in that card game happened in the lore.
Yeah.
Oh, that's really cool, actually.
That is really it's a neat idea.
Got that hammer for me yet? Don't forget she needs a piece of material stuck to her as well. Any kind will do, by the way. Just don't have to be from an apron. What the hell? You are a font of knowledge. Damn fine work as always, lass. She's got good heft, this one. Kind of just don't get. Kind of just don't get with bronze. You tire quicker, of course. That's a failing of the arm, not the tool. And after you'd worked up a sweat, I reckon her cotton-wrapped grip would keep her firmly in your hand, where she belongs. It's common for smithies to make their own tools, you know? There's no better way of getting just what you want. See, assuming you're half decent. I, for one, have always made me own. Bugger me, though. I starting to wish I asked you for 2 of these so I could keep one for myself. You really should have let me buy you a drink sometime, lass. You've done a lot for me, and I don't want you to think me ungrateful. In fact, I'm wondering if we oughtn't put your skills on display more prominently. Really show our potential customers what the guild has to offer. No need to fret about that for the time being, though. You just keep hammering away, alright? Take it from me, lass. You do your best work when your only concerns are the hammer in your hand and the vision in your head. By God's blessings be upon you.
And there goes Shield.
That's a skill. That's a skill I get at level 50.
Yeah.
Wow, talk about behind. I'm at the level 25 blacksmith quest and I'm a level 40 blacksmith. How many twin outer orders did I fill out? God.
A lot, apparently.
You've come a long way since you first joined up, lass. Some smithies might be content to eke out a living selling cheap tools and weapons, but not you. You won't be satisfied till you're the best, am I right? Aye, that's the stuff. Always seeking to better yourself, ain't you? I respect that. If you know motivation, it's only a matter of time before your work starts to suffer. Your customers start looking elsewhere, folks start whispering your best days are behind you, your wife runs off with a goddamn merchant. And next thing you know, you're just another poor soul drowning his sorrows at the winch. That won't happen to you, will it?
I think he's talking from personal experience here.
Brithiel, do you want me to hire you a therapist?
I don't need a therapist.
You produced quality work back when we had to deal with them tree folk, and now I need you to do the same again. Or after another big contact, you see. There's a bloke in town who's looking to buy a boatload of steel, but he won't place an order till he's sure we can deliver first-rate stuff. So we need to send him a sample of our finest work. Now, it takes a little skill to forge a bar of high-quality steel, but if you start with a chunk of premium ore, you're halfway there. Saying that, it can still be a pain in the arse. But I know you're up to the task, class. When you made the thing, give it to that horse-son merchant from before, Phasar, so he can deliver it to the client. This is the first high-quality quest for blacksmith, actually. Yeah, Lananzo, what do you want? Lucia. The woman whose name is on everyone's lips. In case you didn't know, the entire guild seems to be holding its breath, waiting to see which side you'll come down on. Popular opinion is that you're ready to take up with Blendsteer. I have no such concerns, of course. Had you resolved to distance yourself from me, we would not be having this conversation. But that does not change the fact that your allegiance remains a subject of public debate, one which threatens the unity of the guild. How about this? I don't care. I'm just an armor smith.
Yeah.
I propose you dispel our colleagues' unfounded anxiety by demonstrating your affiliation in a manner that none may doubt or dispute. Specifically, I would have you accept a commission from a valued client on my behalf. That, I think, would serve as proof of both my faith in you and of your support for the guild's present course. Tell me, how would you like to try your hand at crafting a suit of steel chainmail? The order comes from a resident of Costa del Sol, an extremely wealthy and discerning gentleman who will accept nothing less than the finest quality armor. As you may imagine, his patronage is of great value to the guild. I need hardly add that I would not entrust this commission to an armorer in whom I had aught less than the utmost faith. The client's maidservant, Nordivrib, will supply you with the finer details of the order. She should be here in the city conducting business at the Fisherman's Guild as we speak. The Fisherman's Guild? Yeah!
Hey, you get to go back there now. After so long.
I miss you, my love. Where's the... It's down here. That's the wrong one. Where did this just take me?
That is a good question.
Oh, that was fate. Yes, I am Thubergene. Greetings and welcome to the to the Arkhamus Guild. As Murray has doubtlessly explained, I am serving as the acting guildmaster until our wayward leader deigns to return. I assume our capable receptionist also spoke of its origins. And then to expand upon its nature, Arkhamus taps in. I already read all this. Of course, just hey, yo, weirdo, you were here before. Are you ready to reason? Yeah, I think so.
Are you ready to actually think for yourself for once?
An unambiguous response. The kind I most prefer. Let us now see if the clarity of your words is matched by the sharpness of your mind. Here, take this grimoire in hand, and we shall next judge your aptitude for our discipline. Listen, lady, I'm here to get a carbuncle and the ruin spell.
And then what?
Then ignore Arkhamus for a while. God dang it, I'm naked again.
You always will be, every time.
That was dumb. Wait, what? My... Oops. Why can I not... What?
What's up?
Why can I not put on my... Why can't I put on my worm set again? Hello? For the love of...
Because you're a lancer, you're not a dragoon.
Why?
I don't know.
For the love of... For the love of... She's just watching me, like, staring at a grimoire and a spear and, like, trying to put on armor but can't figure out how. She's like, are you okay?
And I'm trying to figure... Look, you asked me if I was ready to learn how to reason. I'm trying to figure that out.
There, new set. Arcanist. God. There, I'm an Arcanist.
Yay.
It is a hefty tome, is it not? I promise you, the grimoire's weight becomes a comforting anchor amidst the shifting seas of battle. A fact you will soon discover. In Lower Lenosia, you will find, among others, 3 species of pest: wharf rats, little ladybugs, and arale. I ask that you employ your fledgling skills in Arcanima to eradicate 3 of each type of creature. Leave the city through the Tempest Gate, and you will soon encounter the potential targets in abundance. As long as you remain focused, I do not foresee these opponents causing you or your budding abilities undue difficulty. Once you return from completing the preliminary trial, I will welcome you as an official member of the Arkhamus Guild. May your judgment remain swift and clear. Okay, sounds good, lady. Oh, hey, Ruin has a different has a different icon than when I first played Arcanist.
Oh.
Listen, I tried clicking on Fisherman's Guild. I accidentally clicked on Arkhamus Guild. It was meant to happen.
I mean, you're not wrong.
Okay, where's the lady? What's this for? Armor? Armor. Hey, Nordovid. Greetings and salutations. What an honor it is to meet another of Limsa Limits' famed artisans. I'm sorry, a commission? Oh dear, there seems to be some confusion. I have already entrusted my master's commission to a veteran craftsman of your esteemed organization. You're acquainted with Blensier? His reputation precedes him, you see. And I had little reason to doubt that a man of his experience should be assigned to the task. But I do not mean to suggest that you... I merely sought to justify my own misapprehension. Regrettable though the situation may be, I would hesitate to shame your colleague by stripping him of his commission, given all the sterling work he has delivered to us in the past, I mean. Yet, I can well imagine you were loath to return to your superior empty-handed. Assuming the finished armor is of exceptional quality, my master will provide full remuneration, regardless of the hand that forges the links. Mayhap it would be best for all concerned if you discuss the matter with your fellow armorer. Yo, Blancier, I'm gonna make a better armor than you, and if you think that's not true, prove it.
Alright, deal. I don't know why he suddenly has that voice, but, well, he has that voice.
Blancier, are you choking on that lozenge I gave you before?
Yes, I am. Why do you ask? Help.
God, I need to call so many doctors.
So many different kinds of doctors, too.
I need therapists and surgeons and EMTs. Yo, Blensteer. Well, if it ain't Hans's lapdog. I heard about your little show of allegiance. I suppose Norderwib told you I snatched the commission from right under your nose, did she? Heh. Seems we've got ourselves a thorny little predicament, don't we? Well, I ain't about to hand the job back to you on a silver bleeding platter, but that don't mean I want to give. I don't want you to give up neither. Don't you see? This is a perfect chance to find out who's the better armorer. See which of us has walked the right and proper path. I'm talking about a contest of skill, girl. Whichever of us crafts the finer suit of chainmail gets the job. But remember, this bloke pays good coin for a reason. He wants the best, and he ain't about to settle for less. Not that he'll have to, of course. Your armor need to be bloody flawless to be better than mine. So our mate'll be getting his money's worth whatever happens. Once you're ready, bring your armor back and we'll lay it out next to mine. We've both got our pride, so I reckon we can judge the results fairly for ourselves. Now bugger off. Yeah, it's definitely a fair way to see who's, followed the right path, considering that you've, been an armorer for like 20 times as long as me.
Yeah, 100% fair and unbiased.
Yeah, and I'm totally still gonna beat him.
What gives you that impression?
Because he's a cocky prick.
Yes.
And I tend to beat cocky pricks in these.
You have discovered the main story method of A Realm Reborn.
Oh. So, I think my culinarian is leveled up too, isn't it? 37? I can't remember. Oh, I'm not ready for the next one? What is the next one? Oh, 25. I already did 20? Okay. Good to me. I wonder if there's some kind of calculation you can do for how many weeks you would have to do the Jumbo Cactpot, just pressing random for it eventually to give you top prize.
Well, I can safely say that I've been doing random pretty much since the second week I've been doing it. I have gotten 4th place, I think, once. So I imagine it is very, very low.
You've gotten, one number matching once?
One number matching once.
I've gotten one number matching 3 times already. What are you doing?
Hitting random.
Okay. Well, I've been hitting random too, so apparently the game doesn't like you.
Apparently not. Shion's back.
I have 625,000 MGP.
Damn.
I have, is that... Yeah. I have over double the MGP than I have Gil.
Yeah. That tracks.
Right good of you to drop in again, Lucia. You'd be surprised how many of your guildmates stop coming altogether, thinking they know all what needs knowing. But as any scholarly would tell you, the learner never stops, and I speak from experience. There's some that say I'm the best in the realm, but there ain't a day what passes I don't discover something new. Now you and me, we're chefs first and foremost. But there's more to the restaurant business than just cooking. That's why I want you to speak to Letitia, our bookkeeper. Before coming to us, she herself was scholarly doing customs work at Maelvon's Gate. You stand to learn much and more from seeing things from her perspective. Hey, Letitia. You're cute. Ah, Lucia. Chef who prepared Lord Lolorito's meal in the Guildmaster's stead. Thanks to your heroics, the Bismarck's reputation came through unscathed. We all owe you for that. So what brings you to my counter? Master Linksouth, what have you learned about the restaurant business at large, you say? Why, of course. Why, of course. It'll be my pleasure to share with you such knowledge as I possess. But before we begin, I could do with a bite to eat. It's been a long and busy shift, and I haven't had the chance to sit down to a proper meal. By way of board, might I trouble you to prepare some ratatouille for me? And call me spoiled, but please make it the most exquisite serving you can manage. My thanks in advance. Well, she knows how to work the guild.
Indeed she does.
To be fair, she is the bookkeeper, so if anyone deserves it, it's probably her.
Oh, absolutely.
Is that the last thing I have?
No worries, Shion. Stuff happens.
Is Alchemist. Yeah, Shion, that's fine. I won't be able to get my present for you for a while anyways, so you don't have to be online for a while. Although, speaking of Gil and my lack of it, I might have a lot of Gil very soon. My free company, I was doing a contest to kind of, like, rebrand and have a new, like, name and, like, ranks and backstory and stuff. So we're, like, having a contest. And, I think the leader said that the winner gets, like, 3 million Gil.
Holy shit.
Yeah. And I'm, like, tied for favored right now.
Well, damn.
Okay, Severian.
That's pretty good.
Major blinding potions. Yeah, it's gonna be nice. I'm gonna get an apartment.
Yeah.
Take care that the blinding potions you concoct are especially efficacious. The creation of such exquisitely dangerous substance is a ward in itself. Here's your blinding potions. Gently now, gently. Yes, one could almost grasp the strands of inky darkness swirling within these baleful brews. Though it may appear lethal, this concoction is not designed to steal life, only sight. An unpleasant mix of bat remnants and quicksilver. My eyes begin to water just the thought of the ingredients. So are you gonna taste it to make sure they work, or are we gonna bring over one of the, what's it called when
it's already ingesting it.
Okay. Well, have fun with that, Severian. No wonder you wear that thing on your eye.
My eyesight used to be very, very good when I was younger.
Remember,
but I learned I didn't need eyesight to make things.
Remember, when you're an alchemist, don't test your blinding potions. Eventually they add up. Such potions as you have created hold the potential for all manner of dastardly deeds. Bear the flasks with pride as you deliver them to the hands of the Makote lass who awaits you in Pearl Lane. And no, I have not forgotten her name. She apparently did not give one when she left the order. Apparently. I know only the lass is affiliated with one of Uldah's resident bandit gangs. Swiftly now. Let us not test their patience. So, this is illegal, isn't it?
It's only illegal if you get caught.
Where's Pearl Lane?
I don't remember.
That's
I'm being serious. I don't remember.
Gladiator. Hello? Right there. It's right next to Sapphire. Oh, it's the one that connects Sapphire Avenue and the one next to it.
Ah.
I knew I'd heard of it before. I think I heard it in the Goldsmith questline at some point.
Yeah.
Because isn't that where we met the Jade Fox and where Gigi almost died?
Yes. I think that's right.
Gone to pieces. Dishonor before death. What the? Take it. What is this? This is what I think it is, isn't it? Oh no, a distraught lass! How can I help you?
No.
Oh!
Oh no, Lucy's one weakness.
Hmm?
Your one weakness.
Distraught lasses?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, are you an adventurer? Please, you have to rescue my sister. Some horrible people tried to kidnap us just outside the city gates. I managed to break free when a traveler stopped to help, but my sister never caught up to me. I will save her! You will? Oh, thank you so much. And please hurry through the gate here and just keep going straight ahead. You're sure to find them. The traveler was some sort of mage, I think, but it was 1 against 5. Surely he couldn't stand against so many.
Ah, I know what you're unlocking now.
Huh? What? What am I unlocking?
You'll see.
What have I done?
You'll see.
I saw what it unlocks. It literally says, hey, this is unlocking this thing.
So I heard you wanted to be a red mage.
She have some food. Well-dressed lass. That leaves 3. Oh, jeez. This guy's murdered people. Don't touch me. Oh, you're not one of them? Jeez. Okay. Good night. Well. So, what was I needed for?
Well, look. Look. The old man may not have been able to do that on his own.
And who might you be? You came to lend your aid? My apologies. Had I but known, I would have spared you a villain or two. After all, you seem to share my distaste for those who would prey upon defenseless children. Aye, birds of a feather, are we? I am Zruntia. Is that close enough? Zruntia?
Yes.
I am
Yes.
Zruntia, a pilgrim of sorts. Might I know your name, friend? Lucia? Now why does that strike such a familiar chord? Excuse me, I just wanted to thank you for saving me. My pleasure, child. You're unharmed, yes? Good. Let us escort this brave lass to her sister, then. Lead the way. He says as he walks off without me.
You know.
It's like that thing in Pokemon where Hop always says, "Let's race," and then he takes off while you're still locked into cutscene mode.
Dude, I literally can't race you right now. At least Barry has the excuse of like, and if you're late, I'm fining you money.
Also, the fact that Barry does actually run faster than anyone else possible in the game.
Which is, like, amazing.
You found her, adventurer. Thank you. We are very grateful for your kindness. I was so scared. What did those terrible people want with us? You needn't worry about them anymore, sister. The man in red defeated them all. You saw how he fought with spells and steel? He's one of those heroes Papa told us about, a crimson duelist, aren't you? I did not expect to hear that name this far south into Eorzea. Then you are a crimson duelist, I knew it. If your papa is telling his daughter's tales of red mages, then he must be from Alamigo, yes? Well, that would explain his choice of bedtime stories. Now, shall we see you lasses home? We'll be alright from here. Thank you again. Dude, teach me how to do sword magic.
So that you want to learn how to do sword magic?
And away they skip, safe and happy. Now, Lucia, was it not? I believe we've earned ourselves a celebratory drink. You need not feel compelled, my friend. Should the mood strike you, however, you'll find me staying over at Blackbrush Station. I find the ale served at the Coffer and Coffin most agreeable. Sword magic, sword magic. See, I saw that because I can't. I went here and I couldn't find the. It says it's right there. It's right.
Are you?
It's right. Why is it? To the client. Right. Okay.
Are you an alchemist?
Yes. But it's not on the... What? Okay. I'm going crazy. It says... Right? It... Why is she showing up now, but not on the... Okay, so I had to pull up the actual, like quest list map and follow it there, because it's not showing up on the mini-map.
Odd.
Hey, Wabulia. Oh, hey, Cyrus. You're the head potion brewer's lackey, are you? Let's have the goods, then. Here are your drugs. Bah. I see Severian did nothing to put a stop to this. He should know full well the consequences of handing over such dangerous substances to a criminal organization. Confused? I am Mubalea of the Sultan Sworn. I infiltrated the notorious robber gang, the Velvet Hands, after learning of their plans to attempt a bloodless heist at the palace. An attempt I can only assume is meant to emulate Mistbeard and his legendary act of larceny. These blinding potions were to be the key element in their scheme. Wondering how your guildmaster would handle a request from such unsavory elements, I insinuated myself into a position to receive the delivery. His lack of restraint is disappointing, but not entirely unexpected. He is not the man he once was. Oh, certainly, Severian was always had a passion for his work, but ever since the tragic events of the Calamity, it's become an all-consuming obsession. Your superior may as well have appended one of these flasks over his own head for the little he sees of the world that flows unnoticed around him. Would you take a message back to the guild for me? I want you to tell Severian to cease this insane quest of his. At first I thought the distraction of his research might prove beneficial, but he has lost all sense of self-control. No. My sister, would never countenance this destructive behavior. I will have Wanaja returned to me.
Shion, to answer your question, no. Goldsmith makes red mage weapons.
Why does a goldsmith make rapiers?
Because it's fancy, I guess, and goldsmiths make fancy things.
And because blacksmith already makes too many of the weapons.
Pretty much.
Oh, I'll accept it.
I did see you dancing the Mandeville.
To be fair, the rapiers probably need some special gem work to make them receptive to magic, so I can see it.
So yeah, when you actually get the rapier, the thing that you'll notice is that Well, do you even notice it with Shirin Tia?
There's like a lantern or something.
Yeah, he's got that little, I forget what they call it.
I mean, it looks like
But
a lantern, so I'll
where,
just call it a lantern.
yeah, that's where you channel your magic from, as a red mage.
That's cool. I like it.
Yeah.
You're a gem
Literally, the rapier is just a rapier.
Yeah, fair
The
enough.
gem is what you need to do the magic.
Well, yeah, but in making a rapier, you also make the gem that goes with it, right?
Hmm.
So, yeah.
You do, yeah.
Cyrus, don't stab Severian. You're absent too long. Too long. Your delivery was received. Your delivery was well received, yes? About that. She demanded that I return, Wanaja? Ah, I see you meant the cold-hearted and conniving Wubulia. I have not the slightest intention of giving up on Wanaja now. I must remain focused on the successful culmination of my greatest experiment, so that finally I might tell her. But these matters have no place in our discussion. Once again, you have spared me a bothersome interruption, and proven your alchemical expertise in doing so. From this day forth, I shall think of you no longer as my lackey, but as an assistant in truth. Soon shall we achieve the ultimate expression of alchemy. I bid you return to your studies and prepare for that glorious moment. You can just say the words Philosopher's Stone. I get it. Eagerly I have awaited your return, my able assistant. Does your chest not ache with the intake of every excited breath? Do you not tremble in joyous anticipation as your hand reaches forth seeking to nudge open the door into the realm of Alku's most sought-after secrets? You do? Well, try to ignore that feeling for now. Before we can commit ourselves to our research, there remain a few irksome details that must first be addressed. As ever, I speak of those unending orders from the guild. Brew this potion, concoct this elixir. Ugh. Surely you grow as weary as I of these constant demands of our precious time. We must be allowed to concentrate. I have an idea to end these nibbling distractions, and it involves you. March over to Dietrich's desk and petition for a complete cessation of these interruptions. I'd handle it myself, but I fear the man's become unheedful of my words.
I mean, probably for good reason that he's become unheedful of his words.
Dietrich, we're closing down the guild, apparently.
What do you mean we're closing down the guild?
As for demands we be spared from any further official guild duties? I'm a simple receptionist. How can I possibly deflect the expectations of our senior members? His obsessive research is wearing thin the patience of both colleagues and clients alike. If ever do not restore at least a modicum of goodwill, his attempts to redirect tasks will be met with the staunchest of opposition. I doubt our guildmaster realizes the precarious state he finds himself in. It is only his substantial skill in alchemy that convinces others to tolerate his growing eccentricities. That said, many would gladly trade that skill if it would return him to his former, somewhat less manic self. Nay, 'twas not always like this, but ever since the calamity robbed him of his one true love, I have witnessed him transform into a feverish madman, desperately racing through experiment after experiment. I delve into areas best left unexplored. We should return to the topic at hand. One of the various orders the guild needs met, one of the highest priority is a request for a vial of high ether. Commissioned by one of our more valued patrons. I would suggest you lend your focus to this particular assignment and create an uncommonly potent sample for delivery. Perhaps then it would be enough to both satisfy the patron and allow enough forbearance to free the guildmaster of other tasks. I hesitate to encourage this kind of behavior, of course, but I realize that I realize what Master Severian's work means to him, and I would be grateful if you could keep an eye on him. I fear for his well-being, and you are the closest thing he has to a friend. Severian's my bestest friend. Well, did you browbeat that Dietrich, fellow into submission? Ah, a conditional surrender. I suppose a single vial of high ether is a small price to pay. But let it not be said that my assistant fails to deliver. You'll need to employ advanced and somewhat involved alchemical techniques to produce the elevated quality of high ether required. Best you begin at once. Okay. Now I heard something about Blackbrush Station.
What's up, Shion?
Couldn't get Blue Mage last time, so I might as well get Red Mage this time. Because last is a liar.
You could hit it once you hit 50. I didn't think you had to beat the...
You have to beat Ultimate Weapon.
Yeah, I didn't realize you'd have to beat Ultimate Weapon. So here's the question, Xion. What level is your red mage?
Knowing her, probably 50. Yes, 50.
Yeah.
You probably have the rapier that you're gonna have.
You do.
Ah, you came. As it so happens, the mother of those girls tracked me down and insisted I accept a reward. Once I mentioned you might be stopping by, she left a token of gratitude for you as well. It seems we have assisted. We've assisted an affluent merchant family, a revelation which might explain the attempted kidnapping, hefty ransom, and all that. I'm told the girls were immediately assigned a capable bodyguard. However, so we can drink in peace knowing they are well protected. You want it for glamour? Fair enough. Oh.
Indeed.
I remembered whence I know your name.
Xion, send me an image of the rapier you want, and I will see if I can't figure out how to make it.
I learned of you first from a young lass named Alice. Alice knows who I am?
Wow.
Whom I met upon the road. She expressed an admiration for your growing exploits, even as she persuaded me to teach her the basics of red magery.
Hold on. There's some breaking going on here.
No, there's not. Alice has just heard of my exploits.
Oh, there absolutely is.
Alice has heard of my exploits, and she's super impressed with me, and she wants to meet me. That's what we're going with here. Alice is a fangirl of mine.
I mean, that's still true at every point in the story.
No, but I mean, she is earlier now. She proved a quick study in the arcane side of things, but fencing was something of a challenge. By the end of her lessons, however, she had learned to combine spellcraft with swordplay, when to cast from afar, and when to lunge forward with a well-timed thrust. And what of you, my friend? Have you any interest in the art? I suspect you would make an exceptional red mage. I'm used to jumping in and out of things. I'm deadly serious. A woman who would rush to the aid of a strange child without fear or hesitation is a woman who I trust with the power of red magic. But even beyond that, I sense in you a kindred spirit. Be warned, however, that my style of teaching is a practical one. I will expect you to join me on my journey and assist me in aiding others. Accept those terms, and I will bestow upon you the accoutrements of a red mage. Are you familiar with soul crystals? This particular stone is attuned to past wielders of red magics, and will fill your mind with a firm foundation of the technique. You need only reach forth your hand. Are you prepared to walk the path of a red mage? One word, and the soul crystal is yours. Sure. You will not regret this decision, my friend. Gods above, for a moment there, I thought you meant to refuse me. A host of red mages committed their memories to this gem, and now it is yours. Thank you. Absorb the knowledge it contains, and we will discuss the finer points of red magic. But first, I should give you that reward. Soul of a red mage, mithrite rapier, and red attire coffer. Fancy music.
Stormblood quest accepted theme.
I told you I'd get to Stormblood today.
I mean, technically speaking, you are gonna want to put that. You are gonna want to open that chest too, because that gives, that is like just straight up like
the red mage outfit.
Yes, and also, it's also like slightly worse than the raid gear for a Realm Reborn. Than like the best raid gear for a Realm Reborn, I should say.
Soul crystal, soul of a red mage. Yes, I am the pink mage. Actually,
Indeed.
the default best gear I have besides is a rose pink a rose pink linen belod, and then white gloves, the pants that were overridden by the glamour for the maid bloomers, and carned boots. Balance gauge. Black mana and white mana. Right, I remember you have to have certain amounts to do different things and have different balances of different things to do things. I remember vaguely. Why do they always put it in the dumbest place?
Because apparently people can play like that.
That is not
And
true.
I have no idea how. But yes, if you open the chest, you get stuff. As typical. Although I will say, as a heads up, so remember how I said that every class gets gear at, like, the end of an expansion?
Yeah.
That's not true for Red Mage, Samurai, Gunbreaker, and,
Makes
and
sense.
Dancer.
Woohoo! Sweet, I'm a red mage. Take that dumb hat
Indeed.
off. Actually, that...
How dare you?
Oh yeah, it is a Belod. Yeah, that is actually the right outfit.
Yeah. How dare you say that that hat is dumb?
I look like some... When I'm wearing it, I look somewhere between... Okay, no. I look like if Redolent Rose was a pirate.
I mean... Not wrong, though.
Oh, I have another class up to 50 already. Well, oh, right. I just saw all my stuff that I have on my hotbar. God.
Yep.
Well, I should teach you the origins of red magic. Ah, I see from the glint in your eye that the soul crystal has surrendered its secrets. Welcome to the ranks of red mages. The art we practice is born of noble origin. It is balanced and controlled energies were once used to stem the tide of destruction and reclaim a future for the dispossessed. I speak of the age some 1,500 years past, when the clash of two sorcerous civilizations brought about the sixth Umbral Calamity. Ere the great floods rose, people fled from their homes and into the mountains of Girabania.
Irabanya.
Girabania. Even mages of Mach and Omnipur were to be found among the refugees. These wizardly practitioners became targets of retribution for the part they played in unsettling the natural balance, and soon they shed their robes of black and vestments of white. If people were to survive and rebuild following the disaster, however, they would need the power of the arcane. Thus were the principles of black and white magery reinvented, and upon their combined foundation, an entirely new discipline was built: red magic. But I've prattled on about the history of it for long enough. For better that you experience red magic firsthand. There remains the mystery of who sent kidnappers after those poor girls, and I have a feeling attempts to unearth the culprit will prove the battle practice you may require. Before I plunge into the fray, however, there are a few questions I would ask. Come with me to Eastern Thanalin to the Church of Saint Adama Landama. I will meet you there some other time. I need to figure out how the hell I'm gonna put these in places. Verero, scatter for thunder.
So, do you want my recommendation?
Flesh. Flesh.
It's French, so I assume.
Fleshy.
Yeah.
There's Lucid Dream. Okay. Something like that. Okay, combo action with Riposte or Enchanted Riposte. I'm just gonna work out stuff. What is Enchanted Riposte just a thing that Riposte can... action upgraded to Enchanted Riposte if both black mana and white mana are at 30 or more. Okay. Zwarsho. What is... it has another part of a three combo, right?
Yes.
Which one is it? Redoublement? Yes.
Yep.
Upgraded to Enchanted Redoublement if both black mana and white mana are 25 or more.
Yep. So the whole point of the class is you build up to at least 80 mana of both kinds.
So you use spells to build up power, and then you unleash that power in your rapier.
Yep.
Okay. What about Fletch? Because that doesn't do anything besides just deal a lot of damage.
I was gonna say it is just an extra damage ability that you will have that you can use.
50% chance of becoming Verse Stone ready.
So you see how you've got Ver Fire and Ver Stone, but they're blacked out right now?
Yes.
Whenever you cast Ver Arrow or Ver Thunder, those will have a chance to light up, and they will become buttons that you can hit, and they give you more white or black mana depending on which one they are.
Okay, and Ver Arrow 2 is a more powerful version, but it doesn't have a chance to have Ver Stone go up.
Ver Arrow 2 is AoE. Same with Ver Thunder 2.
Oh, okay.
And
that makes sense.
And if you'll notice, Ver Thunder 2 and Ver Arrow and Ver Thunder have very long cast times.
Oh, Ver Thunder's a 480-second cast time.
Yep. So is Ver Arrow. That's where, however, the special trait of the Red Mage comes in.
Which is?
Dual cast. Every other spell you cast is instant.
Okay. So you use... So, like, you would use, like... So, like, Fletch would activate it, and then you can cast Ver Arrow instantly.
Correction. Every other global cooldown spell you cast.
So anything that doesn't
instant.
have a... Wait. Global cooldown spell.
So like, Scorch.
I don't have Scorch.
Yes, you do.
Nope.
If you don't, you better put it on your goddamn bar.
I don't have Scorch.
Or not Scorch. Jolt.
Yes, I have Jolt.
Yeah, that one.
Deals unaspected damage with a potency of 180.
Yep. It's also just a very useful thing to have. Because it's basically how you will start most fights.
Okay, I'm seeing how this works. Jolt. You said Scorch, and I was like, no, Scorch is a black mage thing that you said was useless.
No, that's Scathe. Scathe is fucking useless.
Wait, then which one's Scorch?
Scorch, I forgot, is the level 80 capstone thing that Red Mage just get.
Scatter is Jolt, but in AoE.
Yep, and it's unlike Jolt, it has the longer cast time of the AoEs.
You mean the longer cast time of the non-AoEs? Because Ver Arrow 2 is the shorter one, but it's an AoE.
Yes. Same with the Ver Thunder 2. I thought I said that. Did I not say that?
No.
Okay. Well, I meant
Yawn backstep. Okay. Ensures the next 3 casts of Ver Thunder, Ver Flare, Ver Arrow, or Ver Holy Will for the first hits trigger Ver Fire Ready or Ver Stone Ready, respectively. So that means that it just makes sure that you can cast Stone or Fire when you do your next thing. Okay.
Yep.
And Korzak.
And you get three uses of that for 15 seconds.
Okay. I will have to practice with this a lot off screen to get used to it, because this is exactly why I wish these extra classes would start at 1, because you can get used to them slowly instead of having everything all at once. Rushes to a trigger focus an attack with a potency of 130 cannot be executed without. Okay, so that's just a gap closer.
Yep.
Okay. So the way I have it is that my 1, 2, 3 keys are the main combo, the rapier combo. 4 is my gap closer. Jolt and Scatter are my 1 and 2 on my mouse. Acceleration is 3 on my mouse. Then 4, 5, 6 are Ver Arrow, Ver Arrow 2, and Ver Stone. 7, 8, 9 are Ver Thunder 2, and Ver Fire. And then Control 1, 2, 3 on my mouse are Flesh, Swift Cast, and Lucid Dreaming. And Control 4, 5, 6 on my mouse are Displacement, Addle, and Surecast. Actually, I'm going to switch Surecast and Addle. Okay. If you use a white magic attack, try using a black magic attack right after. If you use too much of one type, the crystal on the gauge will change color and show what type you're using. When it changes color, you'll gain more of that magic, but less of the other magic, which makes it harder to balance. Okay. I like this.
So the whole... It is a... Like, it's simple. Like, it's simple, but it's a really fun class.
It's very not simple to me at the moment, because I haven't used it yet, but I'm sure I'll get used to it relatively quickly.
Yeah, it is... it is a class that you will very quickly get the hang of.
Sweet. I will get the hang of it off camera. Okay. Okay, so now that I am basically out of anything I can do to distract myself, what was the next? Eyes of the Empire. I still love how I just walked through that area as a fisher.
I mean, look, if nobody sees you...
I mean, Shion, you were able to tell me, so that tells you something. I won't say you're wrong. Shion doesn't do well with complicated mechanics.
Which thing did you manage to do?
She managed to give me the basic explanation of how the how the black and white magic works.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Oh yes, you somehow killed yourself with fall damage, even though that's literally impossible in this game.
So what did she do that dealt damage to her after she landed?
Something had to have aggroed onto her and killed her.
Okay.
Because you are always left with minimum of 1 HP when you fall, no matter what height. Oh, I never got the Tiger's Eye. Shit, I don't know. I know I did.
It's doing it again.
Doing what again? Oh,
It's only showing the quest marker on the actual quest screen, not in the mini map or the normal map, actually.
Wild.
Yeah, right here, not on the map. It's broken. I broke it. I finally broke the MMO.
You did it. I'm impressed.
You stand before Zemael Darkhold, the subterranean fortress excavated by the greatest guardian house of the same name. None but authorized personnel may enter.
Well, it's a good thing we were already
authorized. It's a good thing I've done this dungeon before. A letter from Lord Portalaine. So you have come about the Imperial airship. According to our scouts, the vessel had scarce touched the ground when a pair of men, captives by all accounts, burst forth and bolted. Imperial soldiers have since been sighted in the area seeking to recapture them. What? The captives are like to be your friends, you say? Then let us pray that they are yet a step ahead of their pursuers. The emergency landing reportedly took place near the Orem Vale, situated south and west of here. I suggest you take your search there. Seek out the knight named Paramons. He should be able to assist you. That voice hurt my throat.
You did go with a really kind of deeper voice.
I need to change up the voices occasionally.
You do. And I respect that you did. You just went with like a deeper one that I think either of us were expecting.
He was like a creepy guy in like black armor in front of Zemael Darkhold, so just seemed appropriate. I don't think he talked like Mickey Mouse.
Haha! I don't know what you're talking about.
Sora!
Sora, what are you doing in Smash? I thought we told them. I thought we just sent them that cease and desist a long time ago.
I think Sora's final smash should have been he transforms into Mickey, and gets to play as Mickey for a few minutes to shout out the Kingdom Hearts 2 like anti-game over mechanic.
Oh yeah. I forgot that was a thing.
I mean, Disney would never allow it, but it would be cool.
Oh, absolutely not.
An Imperial airship.
Well, I think
I saw it approach. I approached the land with my own 2 eyes. I hastened to the landing site, arriving just in time to see the vessel take to the skies again. But up for it, had deployed a detachment of troops. Gruff orders were being barked, and there was an air of consternation about them. Yo, Mickey Mouse, big fan, big fan. There were prisoners aboard the airship, it seems. And they seized the opportunity to flee when the vessel was forced to land. The Guardians who were deployed formed search parties, and proceeded to scour the wilderness. In order to alert our forces, I returned to my post to find evidence that someone had been here in my absence. Whoever they were, they tried the door to no avail, and decided to go elsewhere. In all, I marked 2 sets of footprints, one large and one small. If you search the area, mayhap you'll be able to follow the prints to their owners.
I would like to interrupt your Mickey Mouse reading.
Yes.
For something kind of important.
Yes.
I think your stream crashed.
No. Stream's fine.
That is definitely something on my end, then, for some reason.
I mean, yeah, Shion's still watching it.
That is definitely something on my end for some reason. What the hell happened?
You just very slightly, like, glitched out for a second. Are you okay?
I hope so.
Just refresh the page, see what happens. Because yeah, I have excellent signal and high bit rate, and it's not giving me any errors. And like I said, Shion can still see it, so. Wait, I only see 1 pair of footprints here. Hello, little Kane-sana.
I am so confused.
Wait, I know how we can beat the ultimate weapon.
How?
Just have it absorb something that's really weak, so it makes it really weak.
I hate to break it to you, that's not quite how that works.
No, it's like in Dragon Ball, when things fuse. If you to fuse with something that's a lower power level than you need to bring down your power level to match it.
That's not quite how this works. This isn't Dragon Ball.
I wish it was. I should play Monk.
Do you? But you wouldn't even get a Kamehameha until you're level 54. And even then, you still wouldn't get the Kamehameha, because by the time you'd get to that point, you would be an Endwalker, and the class would be changed.
You're acting like I couldn't. You're acting like I couldn't get Monk to level 54 before Endwalker comes out. I absolutely could.
I mean, you could. Will you?
Sure.
Will you?
I mean, depends. Do you want me to... I think someone's hiding under a bridge. I mean, do you want me to ignore the story that much?
No.
Okay. Sounds like your problem, then. Sup, Wedge?
I'll deal with it.
We're so cold. I want to go home. Hello. Ah! Please don't eat me. I'm not nearly as succulent as I look. It's all skin and bones underneath, I swear. Lucia, it's you. Thank goodness you're here. It's been awful. The guards were snapping at our heels like a hungry pack of wolves. I was so hell-bent on evading them, I almost ran headlong into a monster's gaping maw thrice. And when I finally found cover, it hit me how cold and hungry I was. But Biggs, he isn't here. He went off in a different direction to lure the pursuers away. It's me, Sid. Have you had any success? Tracked down Wedge? That's wonderful news. Now what of Biggs? Yeah, I think he's dead. I see. Well, it hardly surprises me that the big fellow went off as he did. For all the tongue
He
lashings,
died. Well, shit.
for all the tongue lashings he gives Wedge, he's always taking care of him. I've scoured the area surrounding the Darkhold, but I've nothing to show for it. At any rate, I know for a fact that Biggs headed west. With both Ida and Ishtola helping out, I'm sure he'll turn up soon. Now then,
Well, here's open.
I'll make my way over to your position while keeping an eye out for Biggs. If memory serves, there should be an Ishgardian fortification not far to your west. Monument Tower, I believe it's called. Let us meet there. Dare I hope? Was that Master Garland you spoke with? After 5 long years. Thank goodness he's alive. I'm feeling better now, Lucia. Let's go to Monument Tower and wait for the sheaf to arrive. Hey, last, when we do, the League games, do you want me to do the thing I said where I have Twitch chat choose what build I do?
Assuming we have people watching, why not?
I mean, if nothing else, you can tell me something stupid to do.
Fair enough.
Listen, League brings in the big views. I one time hit 5 viewers with League.
I mean, true.
Abelay. Well, Melton, welcome, adventurer. What brings you to this frozen corner of the realm?
F.
Oh, it's in your companion has caught a chill. Come and warm yourself by the fire. I will bring you a hot broth. How are we feeling now, then? Stay here as long as you need. She says, just glancing over to me that has most of my stomach exposed.
Wait, I feel like I've seen this armor before.
Yeah.
And I've never understood why the Lady Dragoons have to wear it as such.
Listen, it's since it's made out of dragon stuff, it makes me warm because the dragons have fire in them. Same goes for you, friend. Just plain you have a hard journey ahead of you. You must rest when you can. Nod.
I would, but I have people I need to go find and murder. I mean, save.
Save, murder, same thing.
I was gonna say, you know.
I'm fine now, thanks to you, but I can't bear to think what Biggs, to think that Biggs is still all alone in the cold, with Garleans on his heels. He lured the enemy away for my sake, and now he's suffering for it. I hate to have to rely on you again, Lucia, but do you think you could search for Biggs? I haven't the slightest notion where he might be at the moment, but maybe the people here have seen something? Adelaide, have you seen a big Hrothgar running around?
Rogadin?
Rogadin. What's a Hrothgar again?
The super furry looking people.
Right. Rogadin. A Rogadin gentleman dressed in the same manner as your companion? I'm sorry, but he did not come by here. Let me think a moment. I would not raise your hopes unduly, but there is a cave situated a short distance to the south. We call it the Fury's Gaze, and it may be worth the while to investigate. I make this suggestion only because your friend seems like a selfless sort. Rather than drawing the enemy to this tower, mayhap he elected to pass us by. Sounds good enough to me. Yo, it's so warm in here.
It's rather impressive, really.
I don't know why this is so funny.
Oh, just standing on the fire? Honestly, I'm just getting like SAO Abridged vibes. Stop standing on the fire!
You get sent to hell. This is the first thing you see. A cat girl in worm armor standing in fire.
Eh. Honestly, I can think of worse things.
Shion, just say it. Hey, plasmoids.
Kill the plasmoids.
I could beat him to death with fishing rod if I wanted to. You feel a
You
chill
could.
run down your spine. Oh, revenants. Hello. What the... Oh, God. What the... That was a plasmoid. Well...
Whoops. Are you gonna be alright?
Yeah, it's fine. This is very dumb. That's actually the first time I fought this session, so... Well, nothing here but ghosts.
Well, you know what that means.
Biggs! I'm just like holding the dead revenant and just fades away. Biggs! Biggs, is that you?
Biggs, come back!
Just...
Biggs, we need you!
Oh, you just see him in the background at the distance running away from Guardians. I'm over here!
Help!
Oh, Biggs, sometimes I can still hear your voice.
I'm right!
Lucia, were you able to learn anything? Biggs is dead!
He's so dead!
Not in this area? Well, that stands to reason, I suppose, seeing as he was trying to lure the Guardians away from me. But where within the vast sea of snow and ice could he be? He snuggled up into a dragon corpse to stay warm. We can't give up, Lucia. We must find Biggs before he succumbs to the cold or is recaptured. There must be someone in this tower who can help us, even if it's only to tell us where else to look. Ask them for me. Ask anyone who will listen. And hurry. Biggs' chances of survival grow slimmer by the moment. You know, you have legs. Well, I guess you are a Lalafell, and walking up these stairs is probably horrific.
Just a little bit.
You know what emote I wish there was?
Hmm.
A swan dive emote that actually, like, moves you forward a little bit so you can jump off of things.
That's good. I like that.
I say as I'm climbing a very large tower surrounded by ice and snow.
Whee!
It's like those gifs of the snow foxes. Your friend is lost in the wilderness, you say? If he's not to be found around here or in the vicinity of the Darkhold, it is possible he made for Whitebrim. To reach it, one must travel through Denifin Pass, on the southern end of which lies to the north and east of here. While I make no guarantee that your search will bear fruit, it is surely better than worrying and idleness. I wish you luck. Oh, and one more thing. Do tread warily when climbing the stairs here. Not a moon ago, I near broke my neck when I slipped and took a tumble. Well. Ah. Wow, this is pretty high up. Okay, Biggs. I'm coming for you! I forgot it did that!
I forgot it did what?
I can actually negate all falling damage with my jump backwards thing because it keeps me tethered to the ground. I just backflipped off the top of it and appeared at the bottom.
That's pretty good.
Okay, well. I feel like I had a confrontation with Estinian here not very long ago.
Why would you say that?
Yo, I found Biggs. Hey, Stola. Level 48? Sounds good to me. Our orders are to take you back dead or alive. Which will it be, engineer? Why don't you come and find out, Tinhead? I love how Ida's already ready to punch.
Let me at him. Let me at him. I can take him. I can take him in all 7 feet of him.
Ah, Lucia, it is well that you are here. The situation is grave. Biggs is in a bad way. We need to do something right now. Ida has the right of it. He will perish if we delay. With me! He's not alone. Kill them all. Well, we're 2 pugilists, a dragoon, and a conjurer, so...
I think you guys will be fine.
You know. Oh, I don't have my Chaos Thrust. Dang it.
Nope.
You know what? I don't like you. Oh, wow, yeah, you're super easy to kill. Why didn't I do that sooner?
Good question.
What the hell is that thing? Oh, God. Oh, reinforcements. Well. This is probably bad. Ida, you're fine.
She is fine. She's great.
No, I meant fine like she's safe. Not fine like she's hot.
Yeah, and?
Okay.
Am I wrong?
Not particularly. Ishtola, are you okay? Ishtola, didn't you take the party fighting class? You're supposed to get out of the AoEs.
What's an AoE?
Right, fuck, you don't have the echo. Dang it.
What on earth? What are you talking about?
Okay, every time I see one, I'm gonna just draw a little circle on the ground so you can see it too. Don't worry, I'll do it fast.
Full confusion.
My thanks. Another moment I would have. He has been too long in the cold. We must find shelter for him. Monument Tower, you say? Very well. Ida and I will bear. I will bear him there with all haste. Shion, what's your good news? Sid will be so happy to see Biggs and Wedge again. Ah, I love reunions. Well, speaking of that, we need to go get Papa Lemo.
You know, assuming he's still alive.
We made the logical assumption that they're keeping him alive.
You know, and like, to be fair, it's a pretty logical assumption to make.
Shion, give me a blueberry muffin.
Ooh.
Shion, give me one. Give me one or you don't get the gift that I was going to give you.
I'm sure she would if she could.
Well, then she doesn't get the gift I was going to give her, and she's going to be sad and cry when she hears what it was. I cannot thank you enough, Lucia, and the same goes for the rest of you. Thank you all so much. Oh, don't mention it. We are a family, are we not? Well, yes, it's just... I didn't think I'd ever see him again. I owed a lot of you my life. And you save wedges too, Lucia. Losing count of how many I owe you. Biggs, Wedge. Gods, it's good to see the two of you again. Sid is such a buff old man.
He really is.
Chief, it's you. It's really you.
I mean, to be fair, though, he is an engineer.
In our hearts, we knew you were alive. But to finally see you in the flesh. When Alfino told me of the raid on the Waking Sands, I feared the worst. What happened? The enemy struck with nearly a warning. We didn't stand a chance. Wedge and I were in the workshop when they came, but before we knew what was happening, the Imperials had us at gunpoint. The fuck's a gun? Do we know what guns are yet?
We do, because the Garleans use them.
Oh yes, but I haven't really fought that many Garleans. All the Garleans I fight are usually pugilist or archers. It must have been awful. There's one thing I don't understand, though. How did the Garleans get there so fast? I mean, the Immortal Flame should have seen them coming, right? I myself asked the same question. That day when I returned to the carnage at the Waking Sands, I noted autumn mist in the horizon. Nothing at all to suggest the passing of an Imperial force. From this, I conclude that the Garleans came by neither land nor by air. Nay, they were born here by potent teleportation magics. Magics of a kind used by the Asians. Ah, that makes sense, actually. Carry on. We were bound and blindfolded, and bundled up into the cargo bay of a waiting airship. I can't really say how long we were on board, but the time came for us to, but when the time came for us to disembark, we found ourselves in the midst of an Imperial stronghold, Castrum Sentry. Upon arrival, we were marched off to the main complex. Biggs and I were thrown into a detainment cell together, while Manfilia and the others were taken elsewhere. That was the last we heard from them. Castrum Sentry. What happened next? Well, we were held in isolation for what felt like years, but it was probably moons, or maybe only weeks. But then, without warning, the Imperials collected the pair of us and put us on another vessel, which we found out was bound for Gollumald, much to our dread. We knew if we were taken back there, we weren't like to leave again. So, risky though it was, we sabotaged the airship's altitude control and thereby forced an emergency landing. And in the midst of the ensuing chaos, we managed to slip our captors. The rest, as they say, is history. If I didn't know better, I'd call that a likely story. Sabotaging the altitude controls of an airborne vessel. That will have been Biggs' handiwork, like as not. You always were were resourceful in a tight spot, my friend. Lucia, thank you for returning my dear assistance to me. It would seem I owe you yet another debt of gratitude. Yo, everyone owes me everything. Just make me the Queen of Eorzea at this point. There's still many questions in my mind, but the answers can wait. Manfilia and the others still want for rescue. All right, you lot. Garland Ironworks is back in business. Let's go and give the Imperials what for. Hurrah! Sounds good to me. I just saw that the quest was named Notorious Biggs.
Yep.
Thanks to you, Biggs and Wedge are with us again. Now we must find a way to rescue Manfilia and the others. Gods know we've been keeping them waiting too long already. Based on what we've learned, I believe it's safe to say they're being held at Castrum Sentry. So let us convene Revenant's Toll in Mordona. 'Tis as good a place as any to prepare, and better than most. The road leading east, then south, will get you there. When we arrive, let us seek the advice of the local adventurers. We're bound to learn a thing or two that will benefit our mission. Hey, the first time I'm officially supposed to go to Mordona, I think.
Yep.
Sleepy.
You have been up rather late in the past couple nights.
I wonder whose fault that is.
Both of ours?
Nope, yours. 100% yours.
Hmm.
I wanted to go to bed at 3.
And?
Yo, Sluffborn.
You could have gone to bed at 3.
Shut
At
up.
3?
Shut up. Shh. Well met, friend. What brings you to Revenant's Toll? Did I hear you rightly? Your friends are being held captive at Castrum Sentry? And you want to rescue them? I don't mean to discourage you, but that might prove difficult. The Stronghold has been on high alert of late. With armored patrols seen around the perimeter around the clock. Not even a fly could get in... not even a fly could get within 100 yalms of the walls undetected. If the Guardians were alerted to our coming, we cannot know what they will do to Minfilia and the others. We must act with the greatest stealth. It has to be good old-fashioned infiltration.
Where's a ninja when you need one?
But with security so tight, how are we going to smuggle ourselves in? Why? I have a mind to walk through the front door. Huh? The front door? Hi. We'll disguise ourselves as Imperial troops and march right in. For this, we'll need a few sets of Imperial uniforms, a suit of Magitech armor, and impeccable timing. Heh. That's a bold strategy, but it might just work. Where we are, there's certainly no shortage of opportunities to borrow the equipment. Knowing those Imperial bastards, they won't even suspect that we savage Eorzeans would think to use their technology. Then it's settled.
Yeah, they're kind of assholes.
Yeah, you know. If you're determined to go ahead with this, I recommend you speak with Glamont. The fellow's got a personal grudge against the Empire and happens to know a deal about Castrum Sentry besides. I have no doubt that he'd want to be of aid. Ida and I will go reconnoiter.
Why did you...
She'll go reconnoiter Garland activity at the stronghold. Would not do if something were to befall our comrades before we had the chance to act. Come and join us when you're ready, Lucia. Let's do this.
Don't be the fight I think this is. Please don't be the fight I think this is. This is the fight I think this is. Get me out.
Sometimes I wonder, Ida, are there ever times when you're not enthused? I'm nothing if not enthused, Ishtola, and you're beginning to remind me of Papalymo. Fair enough.
I'll be right back. I have to pee.
Okay. Hey, Glamont. Looking for Glamont, are you? Well, you found him, whoever you are. Yeah, you're looking to get inside Castrum Sentry and you need my help? Something tells me we're going to get along just fine. So, you have friends at Castrum Sentry that, want for rescue. That Slothborn knows me too well. You can count on my help. I've got a score to settle with the Imperials, and I never pass on an opportunity to get back at the Horse Sons. But enough about me. Let's talk strategy. Rescuing folks from captivity is right delicate business. A single oversight, just one little blunder, and it's all over. Can't leave any room for uncertainty. For starters, you need to confirm beyond a shadow of a doubt that your friends are where you think they are. You don't want to risk your neck only to discover they've been moved elsewhere. How can you find out, you ask? By following these instructions. If you approach Sentry from the east, you'll see a swampland to your left called the Tangle. Get in there, never mind all the marbles, and navigate your way to the southwestern corner. You'll come upon some drainage pipes coming down from the stronghold. Don't ask me how I know, but one of them leads back up to the command tower. If you listen closely, it might be as you can eavesdrop on some of the happenings within. Once we know for certain your friends are there, we'll move on to the next stage of the operation. Now get going, and Godspeed. Yo, I know the Tangle. I fish there all the time. Still have not caught the ninja beta, or whatever it's called. Actually, I think now is the time that I can catch it. It's gloom and it's almost nighttime. I think I'm gonna try. don't think frogs lick their face like that. That's what giraffes do. Oh, switching classes turns off sprint. Weird. Let's see now. Ignore all the marbles. I'm used to that. Okay, what was it I needed? I think it was Caddisfly. Let's see what we can get. I need the cadaver whatever, and I need the ninja beta. The ninja beta I need a double mooch for. Boom, crayfish. Alright, my release list. Oh well. I don't have time. I'm gonna run out of gathering fortune. Another bone crayfish. I think the cadaver whatever is a 2-bite? No, the cadaver might be the 3-bite in this area. I think yeah, because I'm missing the last two. One of them's the cadaver something, and one of them's the ninja beta. I need to catch one of these two, to mooch to catch this one, and then mooch the assassin beta to get the ninja beta. I think the ninja beta is the 3-star or the 3 exclamation in this area. But it's still a beta. I think it might be maybe the cadaver's I don't know. I just know it has to be gloom for both of them, and night for both of them. I think. I forgot to... Dang it. Yeah, it's fine. Oh well.
How goes the fishing?
Good. It just happened to be in this area at the right time for 2 of the fish I'm missing.
Ah.
Right time and weather.
Nice. Feels good.
Hey, can you double check something for me?
What's up?
In the Tangle in Mordona, can you check and see if the cadaver... I forget if it's a cadaver carp or whatever, but the cadaver fish, the, like, second rarest one that's besides the double mooch, can you check and make sure what bait it needs? I think it's caddisfly larva.
To the C, not K. I thought it was K, but well, whatever. Still ended up at the same spot. Not a right spot. It needs...
No, it was both fish anyways.
Caddisfly larva.
Yeah.
Or a rainbow spoon lure.
I don't have a rainbow spoon though. And it's gloom at what times?
It's gloom. Just gloom.
Oh, gloom anytime? I could have
Yep,
sworn
it
it was
just has
gloom
to
at
be...
night. Okay, so it's so it's ninja beta that's at night.
Ah.
There's the Alamigan fighting fish. Still don't know how it got here from Alamigo. This is the kind of place a beta fish would like to live in, though.
I will say, it is more likely than you think
More likely than
that
what?
it would end up here.
Nah.
That an Alamigan fighting fish would end up here.
A swamp cut off from everything else? In the middle of Mordona?
Yes. Don't question it too much. Just...
Oh, and actually there is a river that comes in from somewhere. I forget where. Bad. It's fine. No one ever cried over a missed catch.
I feel like that's a lie.
Oh, caught it anyways. Aha! Nice. Silverfish. Okay. This could be perfect. Something that started out very not perfect could become perfect. I think it's late enough, at least. Okay, now give me an assassin beta, not a boltfish. Okay, it's low quality regardless. It's a boltfish. Dang it. With restrictions. Okay, so that's the cadaver. This is the... You can catch an assassin beta whenever it says, so. I'm trying to... I think the ninja beta might be later than this. It might be like AM. Oh, I don't even fighting fish.
I will double check after I attempt to try to get this.
Okay. Oh. Assassin beta, here we go. Got this. It's 2 bite. I think that's it. It might be. It might just be another assassin beta. Yeah, it is.
Mooch the assassin beta again!
It was low quality.
Oh, well. The one I got was high quality.
You can't. If you have good luck, you can't just keep mooching assassin betas for more assassin betas.
You really can. What was the one you were looking for? Ninja beta?
It's the one that you mooch from an assassin beta. It's called a ninja beta, I think. It's apparently the king among assassin beta.
I mean, makes sense. $6 p.m. to 9 a.m.
I should be able to do it then now. Yeah, Gloom, 6 p.m. to 9 a.m. Okay, just unlucky then.
Oh, you do need to have fish eyes.
No, fish eyes just negates the time requirement.
Ah.
That's what fish eyes does. It just makes it so fish that have to be caught at a certain time can be caught whenever.
What you gathering at?
368.
Okay, so you are able to get it now.
Yes. That is one thing that I have checked previously. For a second, I was worried that you knew something I didn't.
Clearly not.
I know more about fishing in this game than you do.
I mean, you probably do.
You probably know more about fishing in anywhere that's not ARR.
Yeah.
I haven't been Aether fishing or whatever.
I mean, would you be surprised to hear that you don't actually have to do that, and it's kind of sad?
Well, you act like I don't have to do it.
I know.
I do have to do it, because I'm me. Although I'm very, very concerned about the fact that there's apparently somewhere where Aether is dense enough that you can fish in it.
Yep.
And the fact that I don't think any living thing should be near that, let alone a fish like swimming in it, nor someone being close enough to it to fish out of it.
Well, you'll just have to see. In like a month or two.
I'll get there today.
No, you won't.
I will stream until 6 a.m. Don't tempt me.
No, see, I know you would. You wouldn't get there.
Why? Is it because I stop to fish everywhere I go?
that, and also because just straight up, going from a Realm Reborn to Heavensward is a grind.
You know.
It takes a while. Muffins are good.
She owns a muffin.
So she is very good.
My new nickname for Shion is Muffin. And she will have to deal with that.
That's fair. I can't decide if that's better or worse than Princess.
Catch. Thing. Catch. Please. I have high quality up. Please. Press the wrong button. Please. I hate it. Why must I not be able to press a button right?
Because
It's
that's
driving
it.
me insane.
Just because.
And it doesn't give me a high quality one. Ah.
Pat, pat, pat.
Pain and suffering.
It's gonna be okay.
No, I pressed the wrong button. Also, it's... the weather changed.
Rip.
So I can't catch either of them now. Well, the Sabardian Bass. Hi, Morble. Oh, leave me alone. Oh, not this way. I'm glad Morbles are so slow. Ow, that Morble hit pretty hard. Oh, the drainage pipe. Ah, Chigos!
Cheetos?
Chigos.
Did you spill Cheeto? Oh.
Chigo. The bug.
Yeah. It's like, wait, what on earth is she?
The faint sound of conversation echoes down the pipe.
Echo, 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 echo.
What of the captive? Does she still refuse to speak? She may as well be a deaf mute for all the information we've gotten out of her. The others aren't much better. The Elezen gets on my nerves most of all. Every time he opens his mouth, it's only to spout gibberish. I do wonder, why is the Trigonus so obsessed with this Minfilial woman? They say she possesses some mystical power, something we Garleans don't have. Mystical power? Like the kind of beastmen use? How am I supposed to bloody know? If you're so curious, why don't you ask the Tribune... or the Tribunus yourself? As well as try to Tumbler. Alright, I like my head where it is, thank you very much. Our break is over. Let's get back to our stations. The footfalls grow fainter until all is silent. Oh, I'm glad there were just like 3 people just yelling into a pipe about their conversation.
Right? It's so it's so nice of them.
It's okay, the Eorzeans aren't smart enough to know our plans.
They're savages. They don't know anything about anything.
Have you seen that Eorzean woman that just stands out there in that swamp fishing all day? It's creepy.
Honestly, I've seen stupider I haven't seen anything.
Oh, actually,
stupid in a long time.
well, actually, I'm technically not from Eorzea, so
Well, they think you are.
fair enough. Yeah, there's really not
and
that reliable of a way to tell, I don't think.
there really isn't. And besides, hey, you're not Garlean, so you may as well be Eorzean to them.
Yeah. So Alamigo was taken over by the Garlean Empire, right?
Yes.
So technically, all Alamegans are Garlean now.
Technically.
But the Garleans don't really think of it that way, anyways.
No.
So why are they taking over places, anyways?
I can't say.
Okay. Oh, hey, Alfie knows here.
Like, I thought about it, I was like, wait, yeah, no, I actually can't say that.
It is good to see you again, Lucia. I'm given to understand you've conducted some reconnaissance. Tell me, were you able? What were you able to learn? I learned that your sister really, really likes me, apparently.
You know.
So I'm feeling the others are indeed a Castrum sentry. Their presence thus confirmed, we may proceed with the mission. While you were afield, Sid took the liberty of devising a plan of action. Pray have the details from him. Good work, Lucia. As Alfino has already told you, we've plotted out a course for the rescue. The gist of it is unchanged. We disguise ourselves as Imperial soldiers and infiltrate the stronghold. Glommet is looking into ways to procure a suit of Magitech armor. In the meantime, I need your assistance for some preparation of my own. I'm feeling the others are counting on us, Lucia. Let's not keep them waiting any longer than necessary. While Glommet goes about devising his plan, we need to see to some preparation of our own. It wouldn't do if the Imperials were to discover that they were short in armor. To prevent this from happening, I'm going to put together a makeshift communications jamming device. The explanation is like to get a bit technical, so bear with me. Imperial forces communicate at a distance via electromagnetic waves. Simply put, voices are born upon etheric lightning energy that permeates the air. Now the hill-sized cluster of corrupted crystals to the west has been observed to amplify the selfsame energy. By making use of this property, we should be able to drown out Imperial voices. To ensure that we have enough application, we must identify the most potent crystals among the cluster. For this, I need you to go there and use this device to take readings. I'll mark the likely places on your map. Oh, and just so you know, plasmoids are drawn to lightning energy. Don't be surprised if you run into a few.
Kick their ass.
Stab the plasmoids! They don't have bodies, though. Stab them!
No. I saw a bird. It was pretty. Kick its ass.
I don't know why it was so funny at that moment. Clean the wax out of your ears now. Because there's something I want you to do by way of preparation. Plans to have you enter XIV Century all decked out in Imperial duds, but disguise is more than just clothes you're wearing. You gotta also act the part. Very least, you know how to perform a convincing Imperial salute. First impressions are everything, as they say. I could teach you the salute myself, of course, but it's best you learned it from the experts. So get yourself near as you dare to Castrum Sentry and watch the Imperials doing what they do.
Lucy, I saw a plasmoid. That is all.
When I find the Aether Sea, I'm going to drown you in it.
You can't. I will just fall forever.
Okay, that's fine too.
But you'd miss me too much.
Probably a little bit.
Oh. Good. Okay. Just go to the Aether Sea myself and just jump off into it.
Electromagnetic radar. Ah, plasmoids! I never would have expected this. Hello? Oh. I was an inch too far away from them. I like the effects of Chaos Thrust.
The little Sakura petals.
Yeah. It's cherry blossoms
say...
and weeb.
What? Oh, I'm sorry.
No, you aren't.
I'm really not. What gave it away?
The fact that you're never sorry for anything you do.
I'm sorry for a couple things I do. I have some regrets in life.
I refuse to.
And see, I respect that.
Ow. My legs. I think this frog's gonna get mad at me. Okay, I snuck around it. Question, are there enemies in this game that, like, because they, like, in fiction don't have eyes, they don't see you from, like, where you are in comparison to them, but they, like, hear you if you're running?
I think there are some of those in Realm Reborn, but pretty much once you get past that, enemies are pretty much just aggro on sight. Or will join. They have some sort of sight vision of you, whether it's blind sense or.
Sad.
Yeah.
Ah, plasmoids! More of them!
Who could have seen that coming?
Oh, right. Chaos Norse is the one I'm supposed to use True North on. I forgot about that. I forgot it was a positional.
You know.
It's fine. It was still doing a lot of damage. And it looks pretty, so.
Yeah.
It only does an extra 40 damage if it's from behind. Who cares?
People doing, like, stuff that has very
tough
DPS checks. They care.
Ah, the frog tried to eat me.
Yeah.
It's always so jarring when it just grabs you and pulls you.
Yeah.
Blum. I wish I could make Yoshi sounds. Blum.
Yep.
Blum.
Yep.
Ba-ding. Ha. No, bad mud puppy. Bad mud puppy. Bad mud puppy. Bad mud puppy. Oh, God.
Are you gonna be okay?
Bad cohorts. Get away. I'm sneaking in. Waiting, waiting. Nothing to report, sir. We received an anonymous warning that insurgent forces are near. We must redouble our vigilance. I shall recommend that patrols be increased. Ah, so the most basic salute I've ever seen. You stomp your left foot and you put your right fist in front of you. Good job. Yep. I'm pretty sure I've seen that before. Sorry, cohorts. I'm not doing anything here. Don't worry about the insurgent forces you heard about. I'm not part of them, I swear.
What, insurgent forces? Are you sure you're not part of them? You look awfully suspicious.
Also, don't question how I know that you heard about insurgent forces. I'm already far off in the distance on my chocobo.
Wait, do we use chocobos here? I thought we had magic tech for that. You bloody idiot! She's an insurgent! Get her!
No, they want chocobos. Oh, there was like a whole thing about how the Garleans wanted chocobos. Wasn't there?
I don't think so.
Like how... wasn't there that one guy that wanted to, like, buy a chocobo egg to sell it to the Garleans because good chocobos are, like, worth a lot of money and the Garleans don't have them?
Probably. Then, I Oh yeah.
So, did you manage to learn the Imperial Salute? No, no, no. Best you don't demonstrate. I'm liable to fly into a rage and crack skulls. I'll just take your word for it. And the emote Imperial Salute. Hooray. So yeah, I'm doing two different main quest lines now.
Yep.
Oh, Imperial stuff. You are called LucaGameC, yes? My family is yelling about football, I think. I've heard of your plight from my friend Glamont. As a fellow adventurer and son of Eorzea, both I would offer you my assistance. In order to infiltrate Castrum Sentry, you and your comrades must disguise yourself as Imperial soldiers. The question is how to go about acquiring the uniforms and helms. There are places a man might purchase them, but individuals who deal in such wares are not the sort of whom you can trust your secrets. It would be more prudent, I believe, to procure what you need via traditional means, from the bodies of their recently deceased owners. The fortified area before Castrum Sentry never lacks for Imperial patrols, and it ought not to take long before to obtain 3 sets of gear. 1 for each member of the infiltration team. Biggs, Wedge, and yourself. When you have what you need, please return here and allow me to inspect the spoils. You know, I would much rather prefer me, Ishtola, and Ida.
Yeah,
and Alfino. Throw Alfino in there.
Here's the thing.
Oh, wait.
Cat girls tend to stick out.
I'm already going in!
I was gonna say, you're the exception because the Echo does weird things to people's perception of you.
Okay.
That is actually canon. That explains, like, how the Fantasia works.
Okay. So wait, Ishtola can't see how pretty I am? No! You have the readings? Excellent. Here, let me see the numbers. Yes, 4 of the crystals should suit our purpose, though I pray we won't have need of their power. My thanks, Lucia.
So I'm in the middle of a dungeon instance. Once I'm done with that, I'm gonna go get food with my brother.
How dare you? I'll probably end the stream relatively soon.
I was thinking that would probably be a thing. Is that like...
my head is starting to get buzzy.
I get that.
I haven't done a stream in a while, so I'm not quite used to the 6 hours I was at.
Mm-hmm. Just something to get reacclimated to. Do eventually.
I hate having family over. It means I can't stream, and that means that I have to do a small stream when I get back.
Mm-hmm.
Please, frogs, no.
You know what, though? Sometimes small streams are nice.
Let's murder some Garleans. I'm sure that nobody will find it suspicious that some patrols didn't come back.
What? No, never.
To be fair, they don't seem like they're people who care super a lot about, you know, like their foot soldiers.
You would not be wrong.
Hiya! It's okay, I'm a ninja. I jump in and out of the fray like a ninja.
I was gonna say like a dragoon, but you know, ninja works too.
Red mage.
Red mage also works.
I can't wait to learn how red mage works.
I think you will have a lot of fun with it. It is a very flippy, dippy, do all of the sort of bullshit you want to do class.
He did the flippy and the dippy. That's
yeah, exactly.
That's the official verbiage.
It is. Don't let the actual don't let whatever the names, the abilities are fool you. It's called the flip and the dip.
I'll be honest, I really could just kind of walk in and kill everything.
You could. It would.
Me just kind of walking around destroying these cohorts. My health regen is better than the damage they're dealing me.
I mean, let's be fair. You do have... You basically have gear that you should not have by this point.
Listen, I'm pulling a full-on Kirito. Let me have this. That's literally what I'm doing now.
You are.
Speaking of Kirito, I hope they upload Sword Art Online Abridged. What is it? 15 that comes out next?
I think so.
I am excited.
It's gonna be a good. It's a good time.
I was worried that it would lose its charm after the first arc, but it definitely did not. I'm really excited for when they get to Gungale.
I have not seen very much Sword Art Online.
Like the original one?
I've seen. I think I said this before, but I've only seen like the first 8 episodes.
Well, you know, those are kind of the episodes everyone thinks about when they think of Sword Art Online.
Which what was I gonna say? Episodes weren't bad. I didn't dislike the episodes.
You know.
It didn't like click with me.
See, so I'm excited for Abridged to get to Gungale, because Gungale was kind of the first time where I actively liked certain parts of it, rather than just like, yeah, it's all okay, it's whatever.
Mm.
Gungale was the first arc that had parts that I actually like specifically liked.
Huh.
And then the arc at the end of the Gungale season was actually like good.
Nice.
I think it was, if I'm thinking of the timeline of the stuff that happened, right? The one with Yuki. I think that was her name. Were you able to obtain 3 sets of Imperial equipment? There you go. I'm sure they definitely fit us, even though I killed a bunch of Hyur to get them. Damaged, as I had suspected. In the present condition, I fear these uniforms and helms are like to draw suspicion. They must be repaired, if only superficially. Fortunately, the blacksmith Agonolf at the Diamond Forge in Rowena's House of Splendors should be able to hammer them back into shape in no time. I've already sent word ahead and have been assured that he's expecting you. Worry not, we have already impressed upon him the need for the utmost secrecy as to the nature of your mission. Oh, right, the summoning bell. I never checked to see if Zamaria's... Oh, yeah, she did. Hooray! Cobalt is a profitable business. That's a sweet 17,900.
That's pretty good.
Oh yeah, I never went to the gold saucer today, did I?
You have not.
That's horrifying. Hey, Gnolf. So you're the adventurer... Sark Marlark sent, are you? I've been waiting for you. Now let's see what you got for me. Do I actually have to wear this equipment, or is it just...
Yes, you do.
Okay, that's gonna be annoying. I see. Yes, I reckon I can hammer these back into shape for you. After all, I owe your friend Sark Marlark a favor or two. Took good care of old Agonolf back in the days before I fell in with old Rowena, you did? Did you know he's the son of one of the wealthiest families in the Sultanate? Don't expect someone like that to end up in the life he did, but I suppose he always felt the venture's life calling him. I go blabbering on about work, blabbering on when there's work needs to be done. Just hold your horse birds for a moment or two and great Agonolf. Is that what they call chocobos? Horse birds?
Horse birds.
That's not wrong, I guess.
No, it is not.
You're looking good as no. Ah, yes, he forged them back into shape with that fireplace. I get it. And there we have it. It won't do you much good in battle, mind you, but from what I can hear, that's not your priority anyhow. Yeah, I have a feeling it's going to end up that way somehow. Do send Sark Marlark my regards, will you? I'm a dragoon. I could just jump over the wall, jump through a door, jump through a jail cell, grab them, and jump out. Wait, no, that's one more jump than I have. Dang it. When's the next jump I get?
Wait, did you say 4 or 5 jumps?
I said 4.
You have 4 jumps.
I have a backwards jump.
Yeah, that's your one you used to get out.
Yes! Okay, we're set. What's in here? I feel like I've been here. But I'm free to swing.
Run away.
Oh, I can't buy things from here. What's artifact stuff? Isn't that one of the things I need for, like, a lot of the,
artifact stuff is stuff that you'll be able to find in, like, hard mode versions of Realm Reborn dungeons. And, like, level 50 dungeons.
Because it said I could buy it at that shop. But then it said he was busy helping someone and he couldn't do it right now. Have you had the uniforms and helms repaired? There you go. Yes, these will serve beautifully. The great Eganolf never fails to impress. The quality of these repairs would fool even the Legatus. Legatus.
I think it's Legatus.
Legiacris.
Roman.
Thus equipped. You can turn the special class armors into artifact armor. I think that just lets you dye them. Right? Yes, specifically because it's the stuff for the fashion report.
Oh.
Like the artifact stuff or whatever I said is like constantly on fashion report lists.
Huh.
That's good. You not have any trouble blending in among Imperial forces. Lest you fear that the Garleans may detect your foreignness, foreigners in fact form the greater part of the Garlean invasion force in Eorzea. You see, when the Empire subjugates a new territory, it assimilates the people of that land into its armed forces. In turn, these conscripted forces are sent to subjugate faraway lands. In this way, Garlemald nips rebellion in the bud and expands its territory in one fell stroke. It seems like it's not a good idea to send the people who you subjugated, and send them out away from you to people who you're about to subjugate, where they could team up and then take all your stuff that you sent with them and then use it to fight you.
See, you'd think that. But in all honesty, it works better than you think it does.
With that, my part in your mission is done. I am full glad to have been of assistance to your cause. Why would I, a wealthy merchant, wish to help you? I know not where you heard such a tale, but believe me when I say that I am but another humble adventurer, one who desires only to act in the best interests of the realm. What in the world is Wedge doing? Level 45 weapon coffer. Ooh. Good work getting them Imperial duds. You'll be
Can I make you a Mithrite spear?
I have a Zemail spear.
You have a what spear?
A Zemail spear.
Okay. Is it level 50?
1 second. I think it's level 48 or something. You'll be pleased to hear it ain't been idle myself. It took me long enough, but I finally hatched a plan to get us a suit of Magitech armor. Now, from what I've seen, Castrop Sentry deploys a Reaper for most of its patrols. Ah! Endwalker.
Not quite. But,
Trouble is, the patrols themselves are irregular, meaning random routes and random deployments. Hardly any of them come anywhere near Revenant's Toll. So, hoping to coax the Imperials out of their shells, I took the liberty of feeding them a bit of false intelligence. Told them insurgents had designs on their stronghold. Can't far from the truth, now that I come to think of it. Any road. We should start seeing more patrols than we have up till now. Well, okay. I feel like you've made our job harder to make our job easier.
Yeah, pretty much.
What you need to do is approach one of the patrols dressed up in your shiny tin suit and alert them to the enemy's presence. Having done that, you want to lure them as near to Revenant's Toll as you can. Like as not, though, they'll be wary of venturing far from their own walls. If they do need a bit of extra encouragement, use the smoke signal here. Filched fresh from the from an Imperial scout. They'll come running when they see that, and when the cavalry arrives, you'll hit them hard and make off with their Reaper. Simple as that. Make no mistake, there's a patrol sweeping the perimeter right now. So run along, eh? Oh, and don't forget to salute. Okay. I wonder. This would be an interesting special interaction.
Okay. Shoot.
Where is Imperial Salute? Okay, he didn't say anything about it. I gave Blommet the Imperial Salute. It would have been funny if he said, "You get the fuck out of here."
What did I tell you about how doing the salute by me?
Okay. I'm gonna go to the Gold Saucer and then end the stream.
Sounds good to me.
We start our plan against the Garleans tomorrow. So after I save Benfilia, basically the only thing left is beat up the Ultima weapon, right?
Pretty much.
Sweet. We're finishing ARR tomorrow. And by tomorrow, I mean the next time we stream. Which may or may not be tomorrow. Probably will not be tomorrow.
I would be surprised if it was tomorrow. But also, it would be neat if it was tomorrow.
I will stab you in the neck with my with my drawing tablet pen.
What?
Don't tempt me.
I know. But it's also very, very nice to try to tempt you.
Mini Cactbot broker, give me my failing tickets, please. 720. Let's see what this one is. Okay. 180. And 72. Hooray.
You're right there?
I haven't won a mini Cactopot in like 2 weeks.
I know your pain.
And it's not even that I'm just bad at it, it's just tickets that don't have the option to get 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, that's not ideal.
How do I do hunts again? Because I forget where I saw that quest, and I don't see it around the Twin Adder anymore.
I think you have to do a Realm Reborn story?
I don't think so, because I saw the quest that was like, hey, you do hunts with this quest, but it said, like, restricted to level 50. But now that I'm level 50, it's gone. It was one of the people standing outside the Adder's Nest.
Yeah, I'm confused now too.
Scarlet? Oh, it's because a bad bladder shows up over Let the Hunt Begin. I never actually talked to Scarlet to see her quest list. Let the Hunt Begin. One man scourges, another man's chance to splurge. Find the reason in this rhyme. Glorian, such as yourself, would be pleased to have the news from the powers that be. The Eorzean Alliance is now a new system known as the Hunt. We never lack for creatures and men that disturb the Sylvan serenity. Henceforth, these miscreants shall be marked for felling, and whoever deals the blow shall collect a reward. 'Tis a bounty system, when all is said and done. The Allegiance makes much of this joining of the. The Alliance makes much of this joining of sword hands, while allowing rivalries to go unchecked elsewhere. Small wonder to see a bent branch where we claim a bow true and proud. What the hell does that mean? But these are matters for our betters to ponder. Okay. For now, you may serve by offering the Hunt your considerable talent for slaughter. The bounty is rich, and you stand to gain much from your services. But don't take my word for it. Speak to the Hunt Billmaster to learn rewards and other such details. Here to join the Hunt. First things first, I want to take a look at this Hunt board. There are bills for all sorts of marks there. There are two kinds of bills, kind for regular marks and kind for elite marks. The second of these are more notorious sort. Before you go after one of them, I recommend you consult a Hunter Scholar. These people are veterans of the Hunt who can recite the Rhymedale Codex by heart. Once the hunt's done, you'll receive tokens called Allied Seals, which you can exchange for exclusive wares. If any of that got stuck going down, you're welcome to come back and ask again. And again, no doubt. I can attend any Allied Seals you'd like to spend as well. What's to be done, Lieutenant? If I don't hear from you soon, I'll take it you weren't hunt material and the mark got the best of you. Oh, do cheer up. Better to die once than live ever in shame. Allied Seals. Hooray. Posted once a day of time are elite. Okay. Noct Hoplon. Ooh, Noct set. Gloam. Astrum. Aurorable. Not which one is... Astrum is Lancer Dragoon.
Yeah.
What in the world is that? Okay, that's kind of fancy. I kind of like that.
Would you be... Let's see. Would you be surprised if I told you that you'd be given a lot of choices in terms of getting this gear later on?
What does that even mean?
So when you do the
Ooh, I like this.
A Realm Reborn to Heavensward story, you'll be given a lot of gear,
Yeah?
but you get to choose what kind of gear it is that you get, and it's all from like that Ray tier level of stuff.
Or I could just get it from Hunts and I'm good to go.
Yep. And you could even just get extra stuff.
Oh, I can get Ventures. Okay, this is how I'm going to get Ventures from now on.
And on that note, I'll go get food with my brother. So I'm going to say goodbye to the stream now. Goodbye, everybody.
Bye-bye. I will be done with the stream by the time you get back, most likely. I'm just looking through these really quick.
Okay. I will also get off voice then.
Black Cinnabar.
For now. So, I will talk with you guys later.
Bye-bye. A Mimic. It's a Mimic minion. Wind Up Succubus. I want it. It's 500. I want it. 100% anatomically correct. Handle with care. Well, good to know, I guess. Oh, Serpent Elite set. Ooh, Serpent Elite Spear is pretty cool. Wow, that's a lot of seals. Interesting. Outdoor furnishing, Glade striking dummy. Oh, fancy. Disciple of Magic. Oh, Even Star and Day Star. So that's for healing, and these are for DPS. Oh, what the? Oh. Oh. Okay. Okay. I see the game they're playing here. Well, this is my red mage costume now. Once I get it. Okay. What does Daystar look like? Ooh, fancy. You know, I'll be honest, these would not be bad, these just wouldn't be bad even if their stats aren't great, because I don't really know. Even if their stats aren't great, these would be really good glamours. Huh. Fancy. Okay. Sounds good to me. What should I thought of... Oh, right. Okay. That sounds good. Let's take a side trip to Corthus really quick. And yes, I could just end the stream wherever, but I have a dumb idea for it, so might as well. And anyone who has been here for the rest of the stream probably knows what I'm about to do. What in the world is it? Somewhere down here. Oh, there's a rare one here. Oh, right, I forgot the spruce. Oh, well. Is this one? I think I've been to this one. Oh yeah, this is another vampire plant. Okay. Take as much vampire plant as I want. I'll probably sell it in bulk. Vampire plant is like a alchemist thing, isn't it? It's like one of the like really high level alchemist things. What minions do I have? I should probably switch out my minion. I've had Kane sign up for the last 2 streams. Minion roulette. Summon a minion at random. Yeah. White mage? Sure. I'll just do that occasionally. I have a lot of good minions. It's almost like I collect them as a point. I'll be honest, the world of Final Fantasy XIV is just, like, pretty. Like, I just like moving through it. Even if places are kind of far apart, I usually don't mind it. Because there's usually stuff to find, even if it's just, like, a river that might have fish that I haven't been in. Because I actually don't think I fished in that river yet. Or just, like, I don't know, weird stuff to beat up that might or might not be on my hunting list. Or just, like, stuff to look at. Like, look, that's pretty up there. Like, those 2 big mountains and stuff like that. I don't know. Like, all the, like weird crystal stuff that's around. It's nice. It's a very well-made game. Which is one of the reasons why I am... I should probably figure out how much time I put into this game now, because it is, well... A lot of it is archived, and I could just add up the time of my VODs, but, yeah, I have spent a decent bit of time in this. Switch to Red Mage, just because. Well, I'm switching to Red Mage because, they use Verfire, technically. Oh, God, I'm stuck on the mount. Save me. Has she leveled up at all? No. I actually don't have she out in combat very often, I'll be honest. Okay, well, if you're gonna stand there looking at me creepily, at least face the camera. Wahaha! Okay, let me take a step forward. I don't know why this is so funny. Okay, the White Mage Minion of Light is doing some kind of horrific ceremony to summon some kind of elder god. But okay, that's gonna be it for the stream. It was a nice 3-hour stream. VOD's probably gonna be like 2.5 hours because I think that was the gameplay portion. But yeah, a little bit over 2.5 hours. But yeah, it was fun. I got Red Mage. I got Arcanist. I might level Arcanist off camera just because I have already done most of that storyline the first time I played FF14 like forever ago. Actually, no, I did do all of the Thaumaturge, or all of the Arcanist storyline because I got to summon her. So there's a slight chance I might have already become a summon, or I might start the Arcanist questline, quote unquote, as a summoner in this stream. So yeah, I might just level it up off camera. But yeah, it was fun. We rescued Biggs and Wedge. We have a plan for rescuing Minfilia and Papalimo and how do you say his name? Arianche? I don't know. All the other people. So yeah, that's gonna be it for this. Thank you everybody for watching, and I will see you the next time I stream. Bye bye.